Hello Vorthos Army and welcome back to the Aether Hub. Today we got another Vorthos Bite, quick rundowns and recaps on some of the greatest legends found in Magic the Gathering. Remember, you decide the targets of this series. You can vote on our community tab here on YouTube and help guide the direction of this channel. You can also vote on more extensive topics by officially joining the Vorthos Army over on Patreon. Check the link in the description below. Today's Vorthos Bite is on the avatar of Yavimaya, Multani. Now, on the plane of Dominaria, some of the greatest sources of green mana, the major forest regions, create their own sentient guardians, these avatars, and Multani is the avatar of the forest Yavimaya. And yes, these avatars, or Maro sorcerers, as they're known, well, there is more than one walking around Dominaria, though they pretty much stay to their own forests and kind of view others as rivals. So Multani's story really begins after the Brothers' War with the destruction of a small island known as Argoth. Urza fought the final battle of the Brothers' War there and ended the conflict using the Silex, an ancient relic that blew Dominaria to an ice age. Like seriously, it plunged the plane into a deep freeze. This of course killed the native Maro sorcerer of Argoth, a being named Titania, and the other avatars could feel the loss of her land. Needless to say, they would remember the name Urza. Check back a few decades later, things have thawed out a bit and Multani is ready to put his summer bark on. Being an avatar and all that, Multani's physical form was whatever he wanted it to be, but mostly he just crafted himself a vessel of whatever plants were just hanging around. So Urza's back and trying to protect Dominaria from the coming Phyrexian invasion. He's seeking allies in this fight and he turns to the powerful tribes of elves and maybe gorillas of the Yavimaya forest. Of course, he finds something else whose bark is just as bad as its bite, Multani, who very much remembers the man who destroyed an entire island. Multani captured Urza, confusing him with the forest's spores and encasing him in a tree in a never-ending sleep-like state. While Urza warned him about the Phyrexians and the threat they posed to Yavimaya, the Maro sorcerer didn't believe him, and forced Urza to relive the devastation of his brother and of Argoth over and over again. It wasn't until Baron the Mage, Urza's buddy, tried to literally call up his friend to explain the Phyrexians that Multani eventually believed Urza and set him free. After that, they were pretty much best buds. Flower puns. Realizing the Phyrexian threat as, real, Multani bolstered Yavimaya's defenses, gave Urza some magical wood that created the Weatherlight, and provided mentorship to Urza's biggest project, Gerard Capuchin. Later on in the war, Multani magically transported a section of the Yavimaya forest to Urborg, the Phyrexians' front door to Dominaria, to aid in the final fight. This is actually how we got Muldrotha, the Gravetide. This is the essence of Yavimaya mixed with Urborg, still a defender of Yavimaya and Dominaria, but tainted by the swamps and undeath of Urborg. This is literally Multani's son. With Dominaria saved, Multani enjoyed time off for a few hundred years until the Rift Crisis began. Temporal rifts had appeared all across Dominaria above crucial points, including Yavimaya, and threatened to destroy the plane and the multiverse as a whole. Being the forest's avatar, Multani did what he could to seal the rift, basically dumping loads of green mana into it to prevent it from spreading, but he was in a losing fight. Luckily, he had allies. Jessica, Venzer, Teferi, Radha, and Joyra were here to help close the rifts, though they didn't really know how. Radha, a half-elf who had lost her connection to green mana, was being used by Jessica, who was very mean, sort of like an anti-hero closing the rifts at any cost. So in short, Multani reconnected Radha to green mana, giving her that gruel pairing we know, and tried to calm Jessica's aggressive tendencies. Sadly, she didn't like her mind being played with, so she obliterated Multani, like exploded him thoroughly. The reason for this was twofold. One, because she hated that Multani was playing mind games, and two, the avatar was basically slowing down their mission and trying to change her tool, Radha. Jessica took the wooden mask of Multani, the only thing left of him, and used Radha's latent planeswalker spark to close the rift above Yavimaya. Yet after this, the forest felt lifeless. The people believed Multani to be no more. But gotcha fools, this avatar never dies. 60 years after the final rift was closed and the mending occurred, the essence of Yavimaya returned. Though it's not fully formed yet, it lashes out in anger at any and all who threaten Yavimaya. He attacks a former friend, Karn, as he digs up the Silex. Of course, Multani really doesn't want to see that again. But his enraged avatar is eventually calmed by the pyromancer Chandra Nalar, who hums some sweet words he learned from her maybe more than friend, Nissa Ravane. And that's basically the entire story of Multani in a quick rundown video. He is a Maro sorcerer who can be any plant he wants, helped build the Weatherlight, defeated the Phyrexians and birthed Muldrotha in the process, got blown up but helped heal Dominaria from the temporal rifts, and he finally returned in all his grumpy glory. Remember to follow us here on YouTube and on Twitter, hit that like button and share across the multiverse. You can help vote on future topics on our community page and of course as a member of the Vorthos army over on Patreon. As always guys, thank you all so much for watching and I'll see you next time here on the Aether Hub.